Good Saturday. Hope you guys are having a great weekend. I woke up pretty early this morning, just after 5 o'clock. Really cool. Had a better heart rate. So I actually got down to 49 for my heart rate, which is a really good heart rate for me when I get it under 50. And my HRV popped up into the 40s, so that's really good recovery for me. So I don't know if you know, but I'm going to take this on. Maybe not. So it's not connecting. If this internet gets up and moving. So I'm just going to ground in the front yard then because the internet's better. So what I wanted to talk about today was that I am on day 3 of my fat fast. And I wanted to tell you how I'm feeling and what's happening in my body and why I'm doing all of this. Because what I've been hearing a lot too, as I've been going over some podcasts and doing more talks, is just talking to the other host and everything and getting to know their questions or hear their questions and really think about the process that I'm doing, the process that I'm creating for you and my clients to get the best health that they can have, is to really look at your health as a health hobby and just not think about this as a diet, that you're just something you have to do. You don't have to do anything, but you get to choose health. And health can be your wealth. And everybody's going to have a different goal and a different thing that they want to do for their health because we're all in a different place. We're all at a different age. We all have our stresses. We all have our time in our lives where we're in different places. So I like to focus on women over 50 specifically because that's my goal and my journey. As a woman over 50, I have lost the rest of my weight and down 100 pounds. And why that's really powerful too is that I'm keeping it off. So how many times have you actually gone on a diet, counted the calories or cut back on the fat, maybe just eat chicken breast and broccoli, and not add any fat to your food and just feel hungry. And maybe you're eating fat-free yogurt for your dessert. And and then you lose the weight, you try so hard, you're hungry, you just don't feel good, you have fatigue and you're tired, your brain energy's not there. And so then, you lose a little bit of weight, you feel great that moment, but the weight just comes back and you can't stop it. I was always terrified I would gain the weight back, and it was horrifying, and I would just watch it come back. And when people would give me comments and say, oh, you look so good, and I'm like, oh, well, that just means I looked terrible when I was overweight. So that always made me feel frustrated. And so for me, I was always looking for my weight loss solution. And I try to look at it as gathering information and developing a plan and looking at this as how can I get excited to make the changes I needed to make to get my body where I want it to be. So I look at it that way, kind of like a health hobby. And every time I wanted to try something new, people would say, oh my God, that's dangerous. You shouldn't do that. Oh, you're going to die. Like when I went on the HCG diet, the whole store where I worked said, oh, you're going to die. That's so dangerous. You're only eating 500 calories. You need all this food and you need glucose for your brain and you shouldn't drink coffee and all these things, were coming at me. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this. And like, why not experiment with things that we want to do? And so I did. And I would lose the weight and everybody got excited. Everybody started doing it. All the clients were doing it. The store was doing it. We were all having a blast learning how to do this. And the thing that I kept in the back of my mind is, explore. Get excited about what we're doing. And then if it doesn't work, what's the next thing to do to really get ourselves empowered and figure out what we can do? So that's what I've been doing. And as I've been listening to podcast hosts ask me questions and as I'm answering them, it kind of comes down to, let's just keep excited about what we want to do and what's the next step that we can do and what action plans can we create for ourselves so we can have our best health. So the thing that I've noticed and the thing that I'm hearing about more is that brain energy. When we actually are able to have less fatigue and we're less tired. And when we're able to actually bring in more energy to our body, we're able to then step forward into the next action and actually get the results that we want to have. And so that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been noticing and what I've been hearing is we want to get to that step where we can turn our brain back on so that we could focus on the action plans that we want to make. And so that's super powerful when we can do that, because every time I was overweight, my brain would stop working and I would have depression and anxiety and I couldn't focus on doing what I wanted to do. I would just eat the food that was in front of me, and or I'd go seek it out and go to the drive-thru and seek out foods that I shouldn't be eating, but I didn't even think about it because I didn't want to think about it. I just wanted to have that moment of relief. I'm so grateful I'm not stuck in that spot anymore. Because what's happening when that's happening too is your brain is shrinking. Your brain is declining. It's no longer getting nutrients, but it's also because there's no energy to the brain. So the more we get overweight, we actually turn off the process of a healthy brain, and we want to put that healthy brain back together again. And so that's part of the initial process, is actually reducing the cravings by bringing in the fat and the protein and actually bringing back the brain energy. And as you do that, you can go forward into your action plans and cement them to the point where they become actionable on a regular basis, and you're creating a lifestyle around everything that you want to do. And that's how my process works. I'm going to check to see everything that's going on in your body so that we could put you back together again like Humpty Dumpty and fix your brain, fix your body, get your energy back, stop the pain, get rid of the inflammation, and create that longevity lifestyle that you want to have. And we're all in different places. That's how I support my clients, and I show up weekly for you guys. And I'm here on the calls as well. Reach out. Let's get on a 20-minute call and just talk about what your goals are and what your visions are and see how I can support you and what your next steps could be. Now, what I'm doing for myself is different than what you're going to be doing for yourself. I like to I continue to educate myself, to listen and to figure out what's my next step for where I am in my process for recreating the body that I want to live in, to get back to beautiful, for feeling comfortable in my body, and to living to my hundreds, upright, straight, dancing, going to parties and weddings and celebrating life. That's what I want to do. And so there's some things that I needed to do right now for myself that are going to keep me focused on growing, keep me focused on getting lived experience to support you and my clients so that I can feel good in my body, and then give you the information that I'm learning so that you can progress to the next steps that you're going to do for yourself. So this is my super sauce. And I'm super grateful to be able to be out here to provide this for you guys. And so this is what I'm doing for myself. And I'm on my third day of a fat fast. And what is a fat fast to me is more of an autophagy fasting rather than a water fast. So I am definitely hydrating, but I'm not eating any solid food. So what I like to do, like what I just had this morning, was a teaspoon of some ghee. I had a little sip of MCT oil and a sip of olive oil. I've just had black coffee. I haven't done anything else yet. I've had my hormones that I take as a liquid from Quicksilver, so that one I don't skip. And you know what? I'm on my third day and I'm not even hungry. I wasn't even hungry before I took the fat. I just took that to support my brain health so I could come out here and do this live and to feel energized. And so third day into this fasting, and what I'm noticing is energy. I've been on a keto diet, a low-carb diet, for 8 years, since 2016. I've had a lot of benefits happen. I've got a lot of health corrections that I've been doing. I've been losing the weight. I'm down 100 pounds. But I wanted to work on my stress. I wanted to work on my hormones. I wanted to be able to focus and get work done as a practitioner and a business owner so that I could show up in a more powerful way and to support my business so it can grow and I can reach more people. And there were some days when I would wake up and I couldn't focus and I couldn't get the work done that I needed to do, and I was stuck a little bit in overwhelm and like, what's the direction I need to do and how do I focus and get everything done? It's not easy. And if you're growing a business, you know that. And if you're just at home working, taking care of family, taking care of yourself, there's a lot of things that we just can't get done. There's not enough time in the day. And then we're tired, so maybe we go to bed early and there's less time to get things done. But actually, that's the best way we can recuperate so we can start fresh the next day, is to go to bed earlier and get that done. So that's what I did last night. I actually went to bed early, woke up at dawn, and got up and got moving and just started to feel energized again and feel really good and positive. And that's what I want my body and brain to feel like every day. So I'm really liking this process. And it's a reset. I'm not doing it forever. I'm just doing it day by day to see how long I want to do this. I started at 129 pounds, almost 130, and I'm down to 127.7 this morning. And tomorrow I want to weigh in and see if it's down to 126. But my goal was to get back down to 125. I have developed muscle. I'm growing muscle. I feel like I really have good definition for someone who's not doing official weight training. I just have a 20-pound weight that I lift, and I might do push-ups and walking and hiking, and I take the right amount of protein or eat the right amount of protein. I actually use extra perfect aminos to get more protein that's digestible and absorbable so that I can build more muscle. And so that's part of my life plan that I'm using to stay healthy, but also to keep my brain sharp. And so my focus has always been on brain health because I've had depression. And I've noticed that when I'm overweight and when my weight is at my highest, I am always more depressed. And recently heard that when we are more overweight, we tend to have a brain that is shrinking. And when your brain is shrinking, you're heading into mental distress and mental unhealth. And so we want to always look at how can we correct our health so that we can have better health. And I'm out of coffee, but I'll make some more later. And so when we look at our health overall, we want to look at how can we get healthy to lose the weight. So it's not that you want to think about how am I going to lose this weight. You want to combine the two and look at how we can get healthy to lose the weight. And so I am fine-tuning my weight so that I get less visceral fat, less inflammation, and better brain health. And so that's my focus with this fat fasting. And I think it's really cool to feel and wake up in the morning and not have any hunger at all. And which means my body's in ketosis and my body's doing what I wanted it to do. What my goal is also to shrink up my skin, because as a woman over 50, I'm 61. I used to weigh 225 pounds. There's skin that needs to be shrunk. Your body needs to eat the skin and recirculate those proteins, reutilize them. And so your body, autophagy, your body will eat the protein from your skin and reuse it and tighten it up. And so I'm not quite there yet, but it's a lot better than it used to be. I think my muscles are doing a pretty good job, not as good as Linnell here, who's on the call. You're definitely doing much better in your muscle building than I am. But I'm working towards it. I actually, one of the things the benefit that I got from this fat fasting that's interesting, to me anyway, is I was able to sit down and do some things that I've been ignoring that were on the back of my mind that I just couldn't prioritize. And it was just like too much, sucking up too much brain energy, and I didn't want to deal with it. And so that's an interesting thing too. So when you do some fat fasting and you're not eating and giving, and you're taking that break from eating and you're giving your body digestion time, you're getting a better heart rate, you're getting a better brain action, you're getting more energy to your brain. And then all of a sudden you could start doing the things that you didn't want to do and you can get them done. And so that's what I did yesterday. I actually got some things done that I needed to do, some things around, it's kind of like the budgeting, the background things with like health cards and checking on this and checking on that, and all these emails that have been coming up that I just didn't focus on and do. And all of a sudden, I had brain energy to do that, and it didn't bother me, and I was able to do them. And I'm like, okay, good, off the list and done. And those things can make you feel tired too, like you're not getting things done. And so that's what I noticed, that I was able to focus on that, which was interesting. And one of my goals that I have right now for this weekend is I have a hose project that I'm going to do for my watering system for the garden. and it's a project. I bought a new hose, and I'm going to set it up and snake it all the way to the backyard so that I can water my oleanders in my back half acre, which is a project. So that needs to be done. And you know what? I've got the energy to do that, and I'm excited about doing that. And one of the other things that I haven't been able to get myself to do, and it's been a year, a good year, and I have this X band in a box. I just opened up the box, but I have an X band. I forgot the full name of this thing, but it is comes with a metal plate, and you stand on the plate and you have a band system, and you were able to pull up and exercise with bands rather than using a weight machine. And so I'm excited to get that set up and do that. And I've been ignoring that for a year because I haven't had the brain energy to do that. And I haven't had the focus to want to do it. And the way I'm looking at this as this reset with doing a fat fasting for 3 days is helping my brain get to the point where it can focus again and focus better, which is the best result that I'm getting from this fat fasting. So even though I've lost 2 pounds, and I'm hoping to lose at least 3 or 4 pounds by the time I finish my process, it is a challenge for me. And it's a challenge in a way that I've never been able to really focus on this. And one of the reasons I'm able to focus on this now is because I actually went more carnivore based. So I started a carnivore challenge on the 8th of July, 8th or the 9th of July. So I've gone down to more protein. And what I've noticed is when I've done that, I've lost my appetite. I've actually lost all the cravings. I'm not eating macadamia nuts, chocolate, all the snacks as much. I'm actually just nourishing my body. And one of the problems I've had is I've been working on doing some detoxification. That was one of the other things, is I'm focused on a detoxification that I needed to actually, that is a priority to me. So I'm doing some specific liquid supplements by Quicksilver, and I am taking some zeolite called Zeocharge to help with metal binding. So I'm doing a lot of metal detoxification right now, and that's been messing with my brain as well. But it's also been messing with my GI tract. And so my whole goal here is to have better GI health and to have better brain energy, but to also challenge myself on a personal level to get down those 4 pounds that I want to have off so that I could feel more slender as a woman, and to see if I can actually be more toned and shrink up my skin as a woman in my 61. Because, I'm like, I've stalled out over the last year. I haven't had a whole lot of body changes, and I don't want to gain weight. So this is my way also of where I am in my lifestyle journey, is to correct my gut health, tighten up my skin, and see if I could lose more weight rather than just to settle for where I was, because I was slender enough. I feel comfortable in my body at 130 pounds, but I'm curious to see where my body can be more naturally strong. And the whole goal is to have less visceral fat, less inflammation in the body, better brain health overall, not just the focus on fat loss, but to tune it all up, tighten it all up, and to have a good, strong body in my 60s, because muscle and bone is more important than being skinny. But what I want to do is be strong, and to be strong I want to feel strong, and I want to feel comfortable in my body. And the benefit of this has been my brain health, and that all along is what I really love, because what I've noticed is with this better brain health I can get more things done. And if I could get rid of the cravings and focus more and have better productivity, that is the best goal that I have right now for myself as a business owner and an entrepreneur and a practitioner, so I could be here to help you guys and to support my clients and to be strong in my 60s, because that's my goal for my 60s, is to be strong, to get stronger, to build more muscle, and to stay healthy, and to reach the goals that I have personally. And it's been super exciting. So day 3, if you're coming on late, day 3 of my fat fasting, and I am feeling amazing, no hunger, down 2 pounds currently, and I'm actually going to push this as far as I can. I think I'm going to fast all the way through Sunday and then maybe have a big meal on Sunday evening because I can. I don't have any hunger. I feel great. I have good energy. I'm working this weekend. I'm getting things done. I've got some projects I want to work on. And this is making me feel really powerful and in tune with myself, very positive. I feel great. Now, this isn't always easy for someone to do if you are just starting out. Doing a fast can be hard if you're a sugar burner. And so the best way to get to a fast is to actually become a fat burner first, which going on a low carb diet, taking out the processed foods so that you can get your brain to turn on so you can get more brain energy. And as you get more brain energy, then you can actually get to the next action step that you want to do, which is to do more intermittent fasting. And then when you can push your intermittent fasting and close your window, then it's easier to make a fast or do a fast longer. And then all of a sudden you can do intermittent fasting and get to that 6 to 8 window, eating window. And you might even be able to do 1 meal a day. And so my goal at this point is I'm thinking if I get great energy fasting like this and really focused and tuned into what my body needs, I think I could really just do a 1 meal a day, get the protein that I need, and be able to power through my day and be creative and supportive for my clients and do what I need to do and feel great in my body with less overwhelm and more positivity. Then that 1 meal a day may be my goal. And I'm going to play with that. And it may not be something I do every day. It may be something I do every other day. It's just going to be depend on my schedule and my activities. But I'm super excited to see how this plays out. And I know that we can all do things like this. And we're all in different places in our lifestyle. But one of the best things that we can do for our brain health is take out the ultra-processed foods and bring in whole foods for your body. Make sure you prioritize your protein to 30 grams of protein per meal so that you could have muscle synthesis. Because when you get the muscle synthesis and you prioritize your protein, you get satiation. You don't eat the crap as much. And, you want to think of that food as crap. You want to think of food as medicine. And sometimes the food we eat could be poison in our body and we don't even know it. I mean, I recently heard that flaxseed has cyanide in it and cassava has cyanide in it. And I'm like, well, those were the best reasons for me to give up those two foods. I don't want to eat them anymore. It might be a minute amount, but cyanide can build up. Arsenic builds up. I've seen that on people's test results. And we want to think about what we're putting in our body. Is it going to give us the information we need for our body to heal? Is it going to give us the information to our body to lose weight? If we are having to store fat because our body has so many toxins that your body has to store fat to store those toxins, and if we're getting mercury and aluminum through our food and our environment, your body's going to store all that in your fat cells, and that's all built up. We want to eliminate that by our lifestyle and with our environment as well as with our food. So looking at movement as medicine, looking at food as medicine, and you've got to think about how your body works and that your arteries are actually pharmacies. You create nitric oxide in your mouth if you take away the interferences of mouthwash and don't use toothpaste that has full of junk. So we want to keep our toothpaste, we want to get rid of toothpaste and use like a tooth powder. I'm even using something called Artismania. I forgot the name of this stuff, Artismania. Anyways, it actually helps you create better gum health and reduce gingivitis and all that other stuff. And when you reduce the sugar in your mouth, you reduce gingivitis. If you got any gingivitis or gut or mouth considerations or even high blood pressure, you want to look at your mouth, look at your bacteria. And the best thing we could do is do oil pulling with coconut oil and put in some essential oils that could be helpful for us. This is my buddy. Here we go, buddy. This is my little buddy guy. He's been meowing at me. And get on the ground and sit on the ground and walk barefoot and do your grounding and get your sunlight. I'm going to go for a walk after this call. But all of these things, I don't want to make them sound overwhelming. It's things that I've dialed in over the last, the last 10 years specifically as I've been learning my lifestyle changes. what has settled my nervous system, what is supporting my brain and my body. And I've created my holistic low carb method and my number one process for weight loss for women over 50 because it works so well for me, and it works when I implement it for my clients. And and it's not about getting it done immediately all at once on the very first day. It's about dialing in the brain energy, dialing in the action, getting the food right, and creating what's the term? Your circadian rhythm, by dialing that in and creating an adventurous lifestyle to live adventurously, because what that is it's a longevity lifestyle. Somebody asked me the other day what my aging adventurously means to me. And what that means to me is that you can turn off the pain of inflammation and live your life without pain. And you can live upright, healthy, strong, with good bones, good muscle, and aging young for longevity. And that's what I call aging adventurously. When we get outside and get movement as medicine, and we get movement, so we can walk for weight loss, we can hike for weight loss, but when we get outside and the light bounces off nature and into us, we are actually energizing our body from the earth. When we step on the earth, we are collecting energy. When we get sunlight in our eyes, when we get it in our eyes, we actually are getting information to our body, to our mitochondria. We are resetting our metabolism. And we're outside getting the sunlight, we're getting vitamin D. Light in our eyes and is actually a nutrient. And it's really interesting because when I've been on really long hikes, when I'm out walking and when it's really sunny out, I don't feel hungry at all, I just feel thirsty. And I might get more salt in, but what that's doing is actually taking that light. Because you got to think about how our body breaks everything down to the cellular level. When your body breaks everything down to the cellular level, so what's happening is it's information to your body, but it's also nutrients to your body. And so light can actually be broken down, just like food, into cellular molecular energy. And that's what happened to me in the Grand Canyon when I was hiking. When you're a fat burner specifically, you don't need the extra energy from food. You can actually get it from your environment, from the sunlight, from hydrating with electrolytes. And then that sunlight is going to break down and give you nutrients, and you're not hungry. And that's why when you go to the beach and you're out in nature and you're walking around, you're not as hungry as you usually are, because you're getting that light as a nutrient. And you could actually it's really exciting to hear that and know that we can do that for our body. And so I fully take advantage of circadian rhythm and circadian balance and getting energy and getting my feet on the ground and grounding, and because what that does is it puts you back into parasympathetic state, because we cannot heal if we're in a sympathetic state. And the sympathetic state of your nervous system is the fight and flight response, and that's your high cortisol levels. And you're stuck in a high cortisol level, like a tiger's chasing you, and you're going to get eaten. And if you're in danger, and you gotta do this, and you gotta do that. You gotta keep working. Everything's happening, and you gotta survive. And so you're stuck. And we do that every day. We live in a very stressful environment. And so if we could turn that off and get our bodies back into a state of rest and digest, so that we could digest our food. Don't want to misplace those glasses. So we can digest our food and relax and settle in to being calm. That parasympathetic state is where we heal. When we are in a parasympathetic state, we can actually digest our food, we can absorb more of our food, we can heal our body, and we can be in a when we're in that parasympathetic state, we can heal. We can actually correct the health of our body and reset our blood sugar and metabolism by actually lowering that response, because stress can actually raise your insulin levels. And that's a really interesting thing to think about. If your insulin levels are being raised, I'm trying to find the right light here. When your insulin levels are raised, your cortisol levels are raised, you have a higher blood pressure, higher heart rate. We want to lower all of that. And when you lower all of that, you have better blood sugar control, and you have a better metabolism overall and better health overall. And so we want to think about that as we are looking at our health plan because you do want to have a health plan. And maybe that's an action to really focus on, is what is your health plan? So how can you get healthy to lose the weight? Not necessarily look at weight loss. My cat has snagged my cord here. Buddy, how can we have a health plan to actually have actions that we're looking at to create a roadmap so that we can see what our results are? And one of the things we can do too is get that in-body scan to see what the internal deposition of our body is, like our fat mass, our muscle mass, our visceral fat. Like, get that all checked out so that we can get one of those monthly. And it's time for me to get a new one too. So here I am telling you to go get an in-body scan, but it's time for me to get an in-body scan as well, so that I can actually check my visceral fat and my fat mass and versus my muscle mass, because sometimes we will have those non-scale victories where we're actually reducing visceral fat in our body, we're having cardiometabolic health inside our body, and yet we can't see it outside, we can't see it necessarily on a scale. So we want to track it with, doing tape measure of your external size, as well as checking internally with an in-body scan or a DEXA scan, so we can see what's going on in our body. So those are all things that we can do to make a health plan. And other things to make a health plan so that we could get healthy to lose the weight is that grounding, the circadian rhythm, and also correcting our food so that we take away the foods that are causing us to have insulin resistance. And insulin resistance is when we have too much sugar in our blood, and our body is always working overtime to try to shove the sugar out of our blood system and into storage. And so all it can do is create more fat cells, or shove it into your fat cells, or it's going to store it around your heart, it's going to store it in your brain, it's going to store it all over the place. And we want to purge that. And so going on a low-carb diet helps you actually correct that fat storage and diminish the fat storage and burn the fat storage, so then you can burn your body fat more readily, but you're creating that brain health and that brain energy as you're doing all this, because you're getting ketone production as you're doing that. And this is my buddy. This is my buddy. So I hope you guys are finding this interesting, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop the questions in the chat, because I am on a mission to empower everybody to make changes, to create that health plan, to get outside and see what the next step is going to be for their health, so that you can get healthy to lose the weight. And this is me all natural at 61. I haven't put on any makeup today. I'm just out here grounding with my cat on my lap, getting oxytocin, pulling up, getting rid of those positive ions, bringing in negative ions, and being in a parasympathetic state, so that I can, because I feel amazing. How many people here do the grounding barefoot? I've actually noticed or seen and heard that some people never touch the earth. Some people don't know that they should, or they're not used to it. But how could you feel amazing if you were to touch the earth every now and then, and close your eyes and listen to the birds and just feel safe and get back into that parasympathetic state? It's so powerful to do that. Just to know all these things, that we can heal our body at home, that we could take care of our health at home. We don't need a sick care system to support our bodies. We don't want to just go to the medical system and find a problem. What we want to do is correct the problems from home by looking at our body as a pharmacy, and knowing that we can do things by taking away the interferences and letting our body heal naturally. And so that's why I'm super excited to be on this fast that I'm working on. It's not a water fast, it's a fat fast. I am on my 3rd day of my fat fast, no hunger whatsoever, great energy, and I am going to incorporate this more into my lifestyle on a regular basis, because I'm really loving it. But you know what was really interesting is I couldn't actually do this until I actually focused on taking out all the snacks and just mostly protein, and I'm doing kimchi, so I'm doing some fermented vegetables. And then when I started doing that, all of my hunger went away. all of my cravings went away, and I just feel better in my body. And so that's interesting. And because I'm doing that detox, I actually have less issue of diarrhea, because that's something that's been happening because of metal toxification. And so now I've been having to detox all of that, and I've been balancing my minerals. So that's also part of my life plan right now, is running HTMA tests, which is a hair tissue mineral analysis, to find out what my minerals are doing, what my metals are doing, so that I could balance them and get them on track so that my body works the way I need it to. And what happened recently was I ran a new HTMA, and I have noticed that finally, after 2 years that I've noticed that, that I've been running my HTMAs, 2.5 years, my calcium shell is finally broken. And what a calcium shell is your calcium in your body gets stuck, and you're not utilizing it and stored in the soft tissues, and it's not actually going into your bones as you would think it would be. So actually taking a calcium supplement when you have that situation is the wrong direction to take. We don't even want the extra D3. We just want it from the sun and on our skin. It's because you're not going to absorb that calcium. You're going to store it as a calcium shell. And so finally I got my sodium and potassium levels up, and I am managing to get rid of my metals. And so all of those are combined in working towards getting my calcium to absorb in my body. And so my calcium shell finally broke. It's down to an 80, and there's Buddy. It's down to an 80, and I'm actually able to absorb my calcium. So that was a big success for me, and I'm super excited to have noticed that. And the fact that I am dumping metals right now is super empowering to help me get further into my detoxification, because I've got too much aluminum, and my mercury popped up. I have cadmium. We get so much. Our environment is so toxic. We build up all of these metals in our body, and then they're just stuck there, and our brain can't work. And so that was one of the things that I'm focused on brain health, because everywhere we don't want Alzheimer's, we don't want dementia, we don't want Parkinson's. That's all lifestyle problems. Those are not DNA issues. Those are lifestyle dysfunctions. And if we are sick in our body, we're going to be sick in our brain. And so we want to think about that as when we're looking at our health plan and getting healthy to lose weight. We want to make sure that we are focusing on brain health as well as body health, and that losing weight is getting healthy to address all of those processes. Hey there, Buddy. Here's my buddy. So I hope you guys are finding this interesting, because I'm just giving you a brain dump, and it started with the lifestyle changes that I'm making for myself, doing a carnivore challenge. I'm going to do this carnivore challenge all the way through up to my half marathon. And then I'm going to see where I'm at. My half marathon is September 7th, I believe. I'm heading out to Tennessee on September 2nd. To visit my daughter, to visit anybody I can find in that time period. Oops, the cat got my cord. Oh my gosh, Buddy. Ugh. Okay, guys, so sorry about that, but Buddy is laying on my cord. Okay. He is very cuddly right now. Okay. All right, so that's my goal, is to do that's carnivore challenge just through September 7th specifically, but maybe longer. I'm going to see how this plays out, because I don't have any hunger and I really feel good. And my goal overall is to be more productive in my business as a professional and as a practitioner, and to be able to show up more for my clients, and to give that lived experience, to see how this feels and how I can then teach and educate you guys on the process as well. And I don't think it's something at this point, it's not something I want to do forever. This is a challenge for me. This is something interesting, and I want to see the benefits to my body. I'm finishing my detoxification, but I also enjoy the holidays, and I want to put together a recipe book that I want to put out for November 1st, because I do love the keto lifestyle, because I love the fact that we can recreate foods that we want to eat that make us feel happy. And I don't ever want to eat wheat and sugar again. Those are not things that are on my radar at all. But I do love the replacements for using almond flour and some, monk fruit erythritol, so that we can enjoy birthday cake, or we can enjoy some cookies or at the holidays, and maybe bring in a few extra homemade crackers that we can make from grain-free with good healthy fat, so that we can enjoy like a charcuterie board, charcuterie board. meat and cheese and olives and put some homemade crackers on there. Those are things I enjoy for the holiday. And so I'm not about giving those things up in my diet, but what I don't want to have in my diet are things that cause what I feel are like poison, that are going to cause my brain to dysfunction and that are going to cause my body to gain weight again. And so I don't want those in my body. But there's always room for celebrations, and that's what I think I'm going to focus on, is for celebrations from like November through January 1st, and just, enjoy life in that regard and celebrate, because my birthday is December 27th, and I like to always celebrate with a little something. But at the same time, I'm on a new health plan, and I'm ready to get to the next level and to recreate my beautiful and to see what I can do. And that keeps me strong and gives me purpose and keeps me passionate about this whole process of living life beautifully and adventurously, so that I can have pain-free living and be the best body that I want to have, because it's not fun being 225 pounds. I never had fun when I was overweight, and I hated it. And so there's no amount of food that I want to go back to. I don't care that I loved bagels or that I loved ice cream. I can recreate those things and do them in a keto low-carb fashion, or even a carnivore fashion. But there's no reason to ever bring back the poison that made me sick and tired, because once you know, you can't take that away. And once you discover what your food sensitivities are and what the weight loss blocks are, you don't ever want to go back to living the way you were. We just want to keep advancing and be the best person we can be. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing a fat fast. That's why I feel amazing today, and why I wanted to come out here and hang out with you, and you guys can meet my cat buddy, because he's just here with me. But this feels great. So get out and balance your circadian rhythm. Get out and get that sunlight. Get it in your eyes. Don't wear sunglasses. Please don't wear sunglasses. If you're going to wear sunglasses, only do it after you've had some sun exposure. And basically, it's better to put on a hat. And you want to build up and create a solar callus on your skin. Like, I'm very tan because I'm a towhead blonde from birth, and Scandinavian is my skin tone and my ancestry. So I used to always burn, but now I've created my body with the right fat so I don't oxidize. I don't glycate, so I'm not eating any sugar, so I'm not getting sticky glycated proteins in my brain or my body or my heart or on my skin. So my skin is healthy, it doesn't burn, it tans, and I'm getting the right amount of minerals to help balance this as well, and the right fat to support my skin. And then when you get out and get the right light into your eyes, your body knows what time it is, and it starts to create the right it starts to create melanin if you let your body know what time it is. And so when I get out in the morning like this, I caught dawn this morning. When I get that light in my eyes, it's telling my body, oh, it's morning. 6 hours, it's going to be solar noon, and we're going to need to create protection for Lori. And so with the vitamin A, as from palmitate, from the fat of animals, we actually create the enzyme action we need to the supercharismatic nucleus, so that we can actually get light in our body and tell our body to tan. And so it's not that sun causes cancer in your body. It's how your body is oxidized or glycated or damaged, because it can't do what it needs to do to protect you, because you haven't tuned into the earth to get the energy from the earth, the information from the sun, and all of that, and the right minerals and the right nutrition to your body, so that you could actually have a body that's healthy and it doesn't create cancer. So those are the things that we want to look at on a regular basis when we're actually looking at our health plan and what our health plan is, and not thinking that we have to do things. We have to not eat this food, or we have to give up this food. What are the opportunities that you can have, and how can you create food bridges and be prepared to do what you want to do so that you can feel good in your body? That's how I look at it. And that's how I support you too. And it's just all about making that choice so you can have your best health. So I hope this was good for you. Leave a comment. I'm also going to post this on YouTube, so come and check my YouTube station out. I have lots of good videos, and if you need a specific subject for my video, I can actually send that directly to you, so just let me know. If you'd like to get on a 20-minute call and chat and find out what your health goals are, I'm here for you to do that as well. And I also have a 60-minute free strategy session that if you want to be one of the 3 women, I have space for 3 women open right now if you want to be one of those. and start losing that first 20 pounds. Get your body reset your blood sugar, reset your metabolism, reverse your risk for pre-diabetes. I am taking 3 women this month to help you guys do that. So let me know and we can set up a health adventure strategy call and get you started. And I also am offering my summer special. My summer podcast special is a free food sensitivity test that is normally retailed for around $600. So if that's something you're interested in and you're ready to find out what your weight loss blocks are, just let me know. DM me test and let's get you started. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Have an amazing weekend, all right? Thank you.